Winston, where do you get your clothes from? You always look really good.
Kids section. Okay. Has it been a hard year?
Actually, yeah. We've had to make a lot of difficult decisions concerning like our family, concerning our finances, and a lot of it has just been a bit of a grind. I did plan like a little herb kind of situation here. So we've got some such a nice day outside, but super warm. So whilst our tea is brewing, I figured I would just give my herbs, as Americans say, my herbs a little bit of love and some water, because the sun, like at this time, is just so much. So I try and like water them a little bit in the morning and then come back and give them a little bit of water like when it's like we're right in like the thick of like the heat of the day. We're actually recording a sit down video for you guys. Hopefully we try and record sit downs when Malaika is napping, but we recently completely got rid of the pacifier.
Bombastic side eye.
You guys have like seen the journey, but it's now gone, and she's fine at night, but during the day she's still kind of getting used to like not having that. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. Basically, like, I'm not gonna talk too much because we're gonna get into it and update you on all the things. My herbs are doing well. There is one of them I'm gonna need to like redo it, because basically the pot that I put it in doesn't allow like the water to drain out, and it's just not growing well. But the others, I put them like in little pots that drain easily, so that's working well. I do have like my bigger like I do have like my bigger garden bed down there. However, a lot of you guys mentioned in the video where I actually like put the soil in it about the fact that we do get a lot of deer, a lot of like squirrels, like lots of different wildlife are out here because it's like right near a creek. That I do need something that's going to protect it, because I don't want to plant it and then basically they're all gone. So I'm working on that. I'm trying to find a solution that will kind of like keep them protected but allow them to get what they need. So yeah, anyway, we'll get into like all the updates and things. I think Malaika should be like asleep by now, so we can start filming, give you guys a little Q&A and just update you on all the things. It's been a minute since we've like actually just chatted together. Hey Super, I already kind of gave them an intro, but we can do our little
We need Malaika for that.
intro.
One. Okay.
2.
3. The Hey Sifa, welcome back to another video. I am Winston.
I'm Malaika.
And we are the Clements.
Low-key, I feel like we're like whispering a bit because Malaika's napping and It was weird. She was crying and then she just kind of fell asleep, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she was super tired, so
Yeah,
she didn't know what to do
was
with
like
herself.
rubbing her eyes.
But here we are.
So I did mention that we are going to do like a little bit of a catch up / Q&A. It's been a minute, I think, like since we've like actually just chatted to you guys. I don't think we've done a catch up since we moved, and we're now like 6-7 months into this.
Yeah, it's probably been a year since we did a catch up.
Yeah, maybe like I remember we did one like in like November, December time. But yeah, a lot of the questions, well, all of the questions we got from our 2 and 10,000 members. So again, remember, if you want to get more content from us, especially if you like more sit downs and kind of like finding out like the why behind a lot of what we do, then that's definitely the community for you. If you're a premium member, we also have like monthly Zoom calls, and they've just been amazing for like, we all share like our goals for the month. We get accountability, pray together. Yeah, it's just been awesome.
Yeah, and hey, if you're a premium member, drop a comment in the chat, you know, so they don't have to take our word for it.
Exactly.
Let them know how you're finding the membership and if it's helping you.
Yes, 100%. So we're going to get into it. But last week we did mention basically that we've been feeling burnt out, and because I was even thinking about it today, like we've kind of gone down to like a filming like once a week. That's one of the things that we've been doing to kind of just, you know, give us a little bit more bandwidth, like create a little bit more room to kind of catch our breaths a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing that we've been trying to do is find ways to do self-care together.
Yeah, and have fun.
Because I feel like we individually have our thing. Like everyone knows that Mayfair loves a long bath. You know, I love listening to my music or watching my sports.
Yeah.
But we found something that we could do together, and that is playing games together.
Yes, it's actually been so much fun.
Yeah, and I mentioned this before in a previous video, but the game that we're checking out at the moment is actually a card game called Spades Plus.
Yes.
And they are very kindly sponsoring this video. So we're going to tell you more about it in a second and show you how we play together. But a big thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Yeah,
it's been so fun having a game that we can actually play together. Just as like an alternative to like maybe watching a show together. Like we get to interact, kind of have that competitive edge. So yeah.
And I always win.
Not true. And you guys know it's not true.
Alright. I'm pretty sure many of you have come across Spades. It is a super popular card game where you and your partner have to reach 500 points before your opponents get there.
And like we mentioned, we've been looking for fun activities to do together. And what we really love about Spades Plus is that it's a team game that we can play together from the comfort of our home, competing against players from all around the world, which makes it super fun.
We also play against each other sometimes, which is a fun way to relax and have some healthy competition. And even though we're using different mobile devices, the gameplay and the graphics are always super smooth, making it a really enjoyable experience.
And life can get pretty busy with parenting, running a business, and all of our other day-to-day responsibilities. So it's been really cool to find a game that's beginner-friendly, fun, but also mentally stimulating.
So download Spades Plus for free today by clicking the link in our description or by scanning the QR code displayed on your screen. And you also get a special bonus of 10,000 coins on arrival.
And we just want to emphasize that we wouldn't be able to make these videos and to be able to make a life from making videos without the support of our amazing sponsors. So please do check them out, and I'm sure you guys are going to have an amazing time and not regret it. So a big thanks again to Spades Plus for sponsoring today's video. Let's get into it.
The questions from our members.
I feel like I keep playing on my hair. Sorry guys.
It looks good. It looks good. You're using the camera as a mirror.
Yeah, that's what I need to look, because basically there's a viewfinder which you can see yourself in, and then there's the actual lens. So I need to look at the lens. The lens.
Focus.
Content creators know the struggle.
Yeah. Okay, maybe you ask the first question and then I can respond to it.
Okay, so the first question is from Deirdre. I think that's how you say it. Deirdre. Is there a car in the process of being customized for Winston? So that's the first question.
Okay, in process, no.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of finding out the process
Yeah.
for getting an adapted car in Georgia, which is where we live, and it's actually not as straightforward as you think. Like, you have to go and get essentially a referral from
A doctor.
your doctor, your primary caregiver, and then you take that to the driver rehabilitation center,
Yeah.
and then they do an assessment to see what exactly your needs are, and then from there, that assessment goes to the manufacturer, who will then do the actual work of customizing the vehicle. So we're kind of in the early stages of that, trying to figure out, how to, I guess, connect with our rehab center and just kickstart the process.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that is high up on our priority list
Oh,
because,
yeah, super high.
yeah, having a car will just give me that additional independence. I mean, of course, we've got your car, so we can kind of get around from A to B. But I think me having the ability to drive will just simplify, that transferring into the vehicle and yeah, just rolling together easily.
Yeah. And I
so
think it's
that's
just that
working.
autonomy to
Yeah.
you to be able to go where you want to go, when you want to go.
Leave you guys behind sometimes and just go do my own thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's important for self-care just to kind of have that autonomy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a top priority.
Yeah, and for anyone who's maybe new-ish, in London, where we're from, I used to drive my own adapted vehicle. Actually, not as complicated as it seems. I think a lot of people, when they see me drive, they think it's some kind of spacecraft or aeroplane. But actually, it's a lot more straightforward than that. And that's it, I am in, and then I just press another button to close the back.
That's right.
And so, yeah, I was the primary driver there. And yeah, I guess in the US we've been using your car, which is not fully customized for me to drive, so I'm working on getting my own vehicle again.
Yeah, well, not customized at all.
Yeah,
So,
standard car.
yeah, and that's the thing when you're moving from the UK to the US, even though you've had a car before, the adaptations that they did, because it's a completely different system. You can't just be well, here are the adaptations that I need, get started. I mean, even with licenses, right? We both have UK licenses, but we have to redo all of the testing here because it's a completely different system, and they want you to have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed within that system.
Yeah,
so
because I thought it would be as easier just showing them this is what I used to drive. I've got so many videos and all the details of the customizations that I had done in the UK, but it's no, we have to follow our 10-step process, so that's what we're doing.
There you go. So Deirdre actually asked the second question, which was, do you plan on teaching your daughter your native languages? Well, I think for me, so I'm Zimbabwean, Winston's from Kenya, so my native language is Shona.
Yeah.
But so I was born in Zimbabwe, but I moved to the UK when I was around 4 years old. And to be honest, my Shona isn't even where I would want it to be, because there was a lot of emphasis on learning English, when we moved to the UK. So there just wasn't that priority for me to have really strong Shona. So yeah, that's tough, because obviously I want to pass that language on to her. When we go back to Zim, I want her to be able to speak the language, but I'm not super confident in Shona. I can understand, but speaking. So I guess the answer is yes, that's a hope. I kind of want to almost relearn with her and get that confidence with her.
And I mean, you could still pass on a few words that
Definitely.
Probably you might not be able to have a full conversation, but this is what you call a table, this is how you ask for water, those basic phrases. I think that's still worth passing on. Yeah, from my side, because my background is Kenya, so we speak a bunch of languages, but Swahili is the one that I'm most comfortable with, and I'm pretty fluent, so when I speak to my family who are from Kenya, I can at least conversationally, hold my own with Swahili. So I mean, I've taught a few words, but I probably need to just be a bit more intentional
Yeah,
about...
and me. You need to teach both
Yeah,
of us.
I need to just become a professor in this house.
Basically.
Professor Winston, just put my professor hat on.
Yes.
And teach you guys all that I know. But yeah, I do think it's important. I think we also nowadays have the benefit of like content creators and apps who like make, you know, really good content that, you know, we can use to teach. So the pressure is not just on the parents to like learn a whole language, you know, that you're not so familiar with.
Yeah.
You know, you can look for content and then, you know, use that as an opportunity to learn together as a family.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And kids are like really well primed to learn languages. So yeah, it's a great thing to be able to like instill it early.
Yeah, okay, cool. So another question, this one is from Zandra. Hey Zandra, what has been your most happy moment this year? And was that moment because of intentional habits or purely a divine blessing?
Ooh.
By the way, we're paraphrasing some of these questions just to kind of get the essence of it. But yeah, we appreciate everything that was sent. Has it been a hard year?
Actually, yeah. I don't know if you meant that jokingly. Did you?
A little bit. A little bit not.
No, it has been a hard year, truthfully. I think a challenging year. Like, there are some years, like, that happen and it's, like, full of, like, celebration and, like, just, like, green lights. Happy birthday, dear Malaika. Wow, what did you wish for? Wow. And there are more, like, seasons where it's, like, pausing and honestly, a lot of times what feels like delay.
Yes.
And kind of like having to like lay down the foundations of things, and that's what this year has been like for us. Like, we've had to make a lot of difficult decisions concerning like our family, concerning our finances, and a lot of it has just been a bit of a grind, like to, you know, get our savings in check, like just really make sure like we have a good foundation. We've spoken a lot about wanting to grow our family. That's still something that we want to do, but like we really have just been focusing on like the foundations so that the next season can just be even more beautiful. But having said that, there have been beautiful moments. I think for me, one of the highlights was my mum getting to spend time with us. And she was here for like two
about
months,
2 months,
and it was really good because she came again like during like the middle of like a tough season. Again, if you are on our podcast community, like you'll know all about that. You can access all previous episodes either on Patreon or YouTube. Both the links will be in the description. But she came during a difficult time, so one, it was just amazing to have her, but then two, I feel like it allowed all of us to grow closer together, because you kind of grow closer together like when you experience like tough stuff together. And I think that was like the result of both intentionality, like because you can be under the same roof as someone, but being intentional about like, okay, let's have a conversation, like let's talk about things and like share how we're feeling. So that was intentionality, but divine blessing in the sense that like the fact that like my mum lives in the UK, but she was able to take time out from work, her regular life, to be here with us. It's just like God's grace. So many things that he's just seen us through, but that's one of the ones that comes to mind.
And I guess from an intentionality perspective and habits, I think it's just been just really good to see how we've settled into this new home, because as you know, if you've been watching us for a few months, and in January we had this, was it January? December we moved here.
End of December.
Yeah, we moved here in December, and even that whole journey up to the move was super stressful.
No, you have to pay the lease until the end of January.
She changed her mind. I feel emotional, guys.
I know.
I feel emotional.
God is so good. God is so good.
And also going from a apartment in the city to a house in the suburbs, and having to, I guess, reinstall all the routines for us, but especially for Malaika.
Big change.
I think, it's a big change, but it feels like we're in a really good place now. And, she's really thriving, like you've all seen her. And again, people who are members of the podcast, we tend to share like behind the scenes pictures and videos and like, Malaika's little milestones here and there. So you'll see and be able to share in that joy with us. So another reason to join the membership. But it just feels like we're getting to we're starting to reap the rewards of that groundwork that we did, in setting up the routines earlier this year.
Yeah, and I think just because it was touched on, with Malaika, our main attitude is you will see. She's amazing. She's already done so many amazing things, like broken so many barriers, and she's continuing to do so. So yeah, that's all I'll say on that, because we do see all the comments about like, oh, was Malaika doing this? Is she doing that? You're going to see.
Show, not tell.
Show, not tell. And God's going to get all the glory.
Amen, 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 amen.
Question 3 from Sig. If you could go back to your younger self, maybe before you started uni, to a time when you were worried about the future, what would you tell yourself, or what would you do differently? And I think that one was for you, because we did like a reel where you kind of spoke about like your younger self.
Yeah, going back to my younger self, what would I tell my younger self?
And what would you do differently?
I think, for those of you who've had me share my story before, so when I was younger, my whole goal was to work in the tech industry. And so that's what I went to university for, studied computer science, and then started to work my way up the corporate ladder. But obviously there was a lot of challenges in navigating my career, especially even entering into a career as a person with disability. There's different barriers and, asking for accommodations and, feeling included in the team and all of those things. But yeah, I guess if I was to go back to my younger self, it would just be to say, just kind of believe in yourself, because I think when you have some sort of disadvantage, whatever that is, it's very easy to listen to all the voices that say, oh, you can't do X because... But there's always a voice that is also encouraging you and is also saying, hey, but you can because of this, because you are you, because you are, talented, you're gifted in this, that, or the other. And we tend to listen to the negative one, but if I could go back to the younger self, it's like, listen to the people who are telling you that you can do it, because those voices are always there. And it just avoids you spending a lot of time stressing and worrying about scenarios, 99% of which never come to fruition.
I love that.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you would do differently?
It's tricky though, because I feel like all the mistakes that you make is what kind of lead you to where you're supposed to be. Yeah, I think maybe if I was to do one thing, it would just be to kind of, just read more, I guess. Read more.
About like your career, or just like things?
I'd say just expand my mind through reading, because I feel like reading is something that used to be really big for me when I was young. So I don't know, up to the age of 10, 11. And then I kind of fell off in my teenage years, but I feel like that's a stage where you have a lot of insecurities and a lot of questions in your mind, and you've got obviously hormonal changes and whatnot. And I just feel like reading, especially reading about other people who've done inspirational things or have gone down the track that I want to go down. Even looking at representation, if it is a black person or someone with a disability, I feel like that would have calmed things down a little bit for me. So I said just less PlayStation, more books.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah.
And just that being a lifelong learner. I think the cool thing is there's literally a book for everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's health related, something you're trying to work on, whether it's marriage, whether it's parenting, even when, that's why I love books, is things where I'm oh, I feel a bit alone in my experience, or surely there's no one else experiencing this. Even with being in an interrabled relationship, there's a book that I read called Love and Disability, I think it's called, and it's literally stories of multiple different couples, interabled couples where both people have a disability, and all sorts of disabilities too. So yeah, basically there's a book for everything, so I think that's great advice. You want to read question 4?
Yes. Question 4 is also from Sig. Sig, you are featuring today.
We love Sig.
What are you looking forward to in the next 10 to 20 years? So that would be in your 30s and 40s for you.
Well, yeah, I'll be in my late 30s and 40s, yeah. I'm nearly 30. It's so weird. Anyway, I think one, just being more being able to really enjoy life and our money. But I think we live in such a culture that's all about instant gratification. It's okay, you graduate, you have to buy the most beautiful house, like furnish it with the most beautiful things, have the biggest car. But we've really like just decided to like honestly like scale back a bit and like really like lay the foundations, and it's been boring. Like we haven't been able to, we love to travel, like we haven't been able to like take holidays or even like just do things that we would normally want to do, because we're like, okay cool, we want to really set ourselves up to be not only financially stable but financially free. So I feel like in 10-20 years time, like I'm looking forward to having reaped the benefits like of true wealth, like not just wealth for show, do you know what I mean, like actual true like financial freedom. I'm looking forward to obviously our family being fully complete and having like adult kids where we can almost like, there's like that friendship, like going on holidays together and things like that, like because they actually want to hang out with us, not because like they feel like they have to. I'm looking forward to our marriage being in a place like where like, not that we can't pour into us now with kids, but it's different when you have like little ones. So I'm looking forward to kind of that full circle moment of like almost like that honeymoon phase of like just me and my boo kind of thing. Not that they have to be out of the house, and obviously not in 10 years, but like I don't know, like they're way more independent. They'll have like their own friends and stuff, and we can kind of like re-enter like our love bubble.
Yeah, I think those are good things. I would probably echo all of those things. Yeah, family complete, be able to enjoy the work that we're doing now. Because I think also the other thing is, you know, we've just done this big move to the US, and yet it takes some time to kind of build that foundation.
Right.
And there's different ways you could do it. Like you could take out a load of credit cards and, you know, be like, okay, we're just gonna continue to have this fun lifestyle, and hope that our money will catch up at some point. But I think instead what we're doing is what you shared. You know, we're kind of scaling back, going back to basics, stewarding the little that we have, and also at the same time working to grow our business and grow our skills so that we can be more valuable and just be able to produce more fruit. So it's definitely not what is promoted on Instagram, but I think it's something that's going to reap rewards in the future, like you say. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
And I think just doing more beyond YouTube, like I don't know if we'll be on social media, but we definitely want to continue like our ministry of like just speaking into people's lives and normalizing interracial relationships, like showing the importance of home and like those foundations.
Yeah, finding different ways to express that.
Yeah.
Whether through content, through setting up a foundation, through a mobile app, events, any way that we can express it.
Okay, so question 5 from Malaika.
Sounds a lot like our daughter's name.
Yeah. From Malaika, I'd love to know if you're planning to vlog more family activities, maybe when Winston is out of his maybe when Winston is out of his wheelchair. You mentioned bike riding and jet skiing on your honeymoon, so I think it would be helpful to see how Winston navigates those things.
Me, jet ski, can you imagine?
I love a jet ski, and I always try and convince him to,
Yeah, I mean, you had an interesting jet ski experience.
Oh, my instructor was wild.
Yeah, was that the honeymoon or the baby moon?
That was honeymoon. Oh, baby moon, God no, like I was I was trying to lay on my back.
Maybe, let us know if you want to hear that story another time. But I feel like it's like what we've touched on. So we're in this season, we're just kind of putting things in place and putting the right foundations. But definitely, you know, travel and like experiences and visiting new countries, even like getting to know Georgia and you know, I think as we start to venture out more and kind of see what's around, you probably will see me doing some more interesting stuff out of my chair. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the next season. I think this has been a season where we've been doing like a lot of stuff in the house and working from home because that's where our business is based. But I think we're also coming into a season where there'll be more opportunities to venture out. I mean, even my speaking business is now starting to see requests from, you know, nationwide. So you know, let me know if you want me to vlog some of those journeys as, you know, we go to do a speaking engagement and stuff like that. So, Malaika, watch this space.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I just want to say one thing that we've really learned, like, in this season, and I think it's also really important for, like, even us as influencers, because I think part of like what can be tough about influencer culture is like people like put you in like a box, and there is like that pedestal of like influencers have this and have that. So as much as like we share with you like the highs, like moving into a new house or a car, whatever it is, we also have a responsibility to like share with you like regular normal life as well, so we don't contribute to this feeling of like, oh, I'm not enough, or if I don't have this, I'm like somehow behind. So I just want to encourage you that like if you are in a season like we have been of like sacrifice truly, and like not being able to do like all of the glamorous things, like keep stewarding that season well. Like if you can't travel, like, you know, we've made like a list, like a summer bucket list, and a lot of them are just like, again, like we do want to be in a position where we're going to travel and do things like that, but a lot of them are like, you know, have a picnic on our porch, or like, you know, make our own ice pops, or like, you know, camp in the back garden. Like there's so much that you can do within the season that you have, and stewardship is a great antidote to like feeling like you don't have enough, like stewarding what you have right now.
Yeah.
In the way that you can. But yeah, when we start doing more stuff outside, you guys are gonna see.
Oh, you don't see
Trust
us.
me, you gonna know about it, because we want to give you guys variety too. And our vlogs, like obviously we don't share everything on the internet, but for the most part they're representative like of our lives. Like the day-to-day stuff, doing laundry, dates, looking after the baby, like that's our day-to-day life. So when that changes and evolves, we're gonna take you guys right along.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last question from Patricia. Hey Patricia. Now that you are in Atlanta, have you found any reliable friends that you trust enough to leave your daughter with so that you can have date nights? It's a good question. We've definitely made some amazing friends in Atlanta. It's something that we're still actively trying to do. So again, if you're in Atlanta, like hit us up, like if you feel like we'd connect, because like community is so important. And to have people that you can trust and rely on. But in terms of like friends that we trust enough to look after like Malaika, I think we built friends that I think can get there, but also 2 years like of just being here, like I don't think for me it's enough time to kind of like build up like that. I don't know, I think with relationships, before like you kind of like ask for favors, like you kind of want to make sure it's got a really solid foundation, if that makes sense, and kind of like you're pouring in value so that, you know, because it is a big thing, like not even just us trusting them, but like them taking their time out to look after like someone's child. It's a big responsibility. So we have friendships basically that I think that can get there, but they'll just take a little bit more time. But we do want to formally have like a nanny, and we're in the process of like that, and finding someone like who is, you know, reliable for that kind of thing. So and I think in any case that's more the route that we'd go down, is like someone that we know and trust, but also like that is kind of their job, like it's like you know, looking after like Malaika, and you know, of course like friends here and there, like for a couple of hours or whatnot, but also I think like for that predictability for her, it's nice to have someone who's like, okay, dedicated to that.
Yeah, and we've been fortunate to find someone who helps us out, you know, now and again, but she's also found other employment now. So I think that's why we're looking for somebody to kind of take it on a more regular basis.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, okay.
And the second question Trisha had was, Winston, where do you get your clothes from? You always look really good.
Patricia, thank you for noticing. Kids section, Target.
Well, not just Target, but yeah, I do most of Winston's shopping, and honestly, yeah, it's mainly like from whatever, like H&M, Zara, like Marshalls.
I think the good thing about like the kids section nowadays is you can pretty much get like
plain
small versions of adult clothes.
Yeah.
So that tends to work really well. But I think what I want to get to is to have stuff that is tailored and like really fits my body well. So
custom made.
So that's what I want to do. But I think with that we're gonna wrap up this Q&A, and I think we're going to try and do these a bit more frequently.
Definitely.
So that we can catch you up on all that's been going on. And do not forget to check out Spades Plus.
Yeah.
They've got an offer right now that if you download the app, which is a free app by the way, they give you 10,000 free coins to enjoy the game. So there's no reason not to. We've been loving it, so we think you will too. So thank you, CFAM, and we shall see you in the next video.
Bye, CFAM.